The music industry is built on illusions. But what happens when the loudest voice in New York decides to shatter the mirror? For decades, Jay-Z and Beyoncé have been portrayed as the ultimate blueprint of a power couple. They are the untouchable royals of hip-hop, draped in Grammys, champagne, and high-fashion mystery. But according to 50 Cent, the man who built an empire on Get Rich or Die Trying, this entire royal wedding is nothing more than a carefully constructed corporate shield. 50 Cent isn't just trolling anymore. He is making a calculated move to expose what he calls the cover-up of the century. The claim is simple, yet devastating. Is Beyoncé the love of Jay-Z's life, or is she the most expensive PR strategy in history? 50 Cent suggests that the Carter's brand was created to hide Jay-Z's darker, secret industry alliances and his history of strategic relationships that go far beyond music. While the world watchers Beyoncé break records, 50 Cent wants you to look at the man behind the curtain. He's hinting at a world of secret parties, hidden influence, and a history that Jay-Z desperately wants to keep buried under the family man image. This isn't just about music. It's about power, manipulation, and the silent deals made in the shadows of the industry. As the tension between these two titans reaches a breaking point, the question isn't whether Jay-Z is talented, it's whether his entire public persona is a lie designed to protect a web of underground connections. We are peeling back the layers of the industry's most guarded secret. Is the throne built on love, or is it built on a calculated silence? Buckle up, because 50 Cent is about to burn the blueprint to the ground. The music industry has always been a game of shadows, a place where what you see on the stage is rarely what is happening in the dark corners of the executive suites. Decades. The narrative of the power couple has been sold to us as the ultimate success story, a king and a queen sitting on a diamond-encrusted throne, untouchable and pure. But according to 50 Cent, the man who survived 9 bullets and built a business empire on raw, unfiltered reality, this throne isn't built on love. It's built on a calculated blueprint of deception. To understand 50 Cent's explosive claims, we have to go back to the early 2000s, a time when the industry was changing and Jay-Z was at a crossroads. Back then, Jay-Z was transitioning from a street-hardened rapper into a global corporate entity. He knew that to reach the level of wealth he craved, he couldn't just be a hustler anymore. He had to become a brand that corporate America could trust. This is where the secret relationships and the cover strategy began. 50 Cent argues that Jay-Z's alliance with Beyoncé wasn't just a romantic spark, it was the most brilliant PR move in the history of entertainment. By aligning himself with a woman who possessed an untarnished image, a woman who represented grace and perfection, Jay-Z effectively laundered his reputation. He wasn't just the guy from the Marcy Projects anymore. He was the husband of the world's most beloved pop star. But 50 Cent's claims go much deeper than just a marriage of convenience. He suggests that Beyoncé serves as a corporate shield. Whenever whispers of Jay-Z's darker business dealings or his connections to controversial industry figures start to surface, the media machine immediately pivots to their perfect family life. It's a classic bait and switch. While the public is distracted by a new music video or a high-fashion photo shoot, the real work is happening in the background. 50 Cent points out that this shield has allowed Jay-Z to maintain a web of secret alliances with the real gatekeepers, the people who control the money, the distribution, and the narrative. These are the silent partners who don't want their names on the Grammy stage, but want their influence felt in every contract signed. The awards for sale allegation fits perfectly into this blueprint. 50 Cent hasn't been shy about saying that Beyoncé's record-breaking award runs are a form of industry currency. It's not that she isn't talented, no one denies her voice, but the sheer volume of accolades is, in 50's view, a way for the industry to pay back the couple for their loyalty. By keeping the industry's secrets and maintaining the status quo, they are rewarded with a legacy that seems statistically impossible. It's a closed-loop system where the winners are decided before the show even starts. 50 Cent's frustration comes from the fact that he has always refused to play this game. He chose the path of the outsider, while he claims Jay-Z chose the path of the infiltrator, using a beautiful cover to hide a ruthless agenda. As we look closer at this blueprint, we start to see the cracks. 50 Cent often references the people Jay-Z left behind, the architects of his early success who were suddenly erased from the picture once the power couple brand took flight. Names like Dame and Dash aren't just former partners. They are reminders of a time before the clean image was perfected. 50 Cent suggests that those who knew the real Hav had to be pushed out so that the corporate Hav could exist without contradiction. This is the secret relationship with the past that Jay-Z desperately tries to keep buried. The script of their lives is so tightly controlled that any deviation is seen as a glitch in the matrix. Remember the elevator incident. To the world, it was a shocking family dispute. But to 50 Cent, it was a moment where the cover slipped. It was a glimpse into the hyper-sure reality of maintaining a facade that is worth billions of dollars. When your marriage is your biggest business asset, you can't afford a single honest moment in public. 50 Cent argues that the stress of this deception is what leads to these glitches. He believes that Jay-Z's power isn't derived from his music anymore, but from his ability to keep everyone, the fans, the media, and even other artists, believing in the illusion. Furthermore, 50 Cent hints at a darker side of these secret industry alliances. He suggests that the secret relationships involve a level of gatekeeping that borders on exploitation. In the pursuit of maintaining the throne, certain artists are suppressed while others are elevated based on their willingness to protect the Carter's image. This isn't just a beef between two rappers. It's a critique of a system that uses a queen to protect a king, who may have done things in the shadows that the public would never forgive. 50 Cent is essentially saying that Jay-Z is using Beyoncé's slight to hide his own darkness. This deception extends to the very way they communicate. Every lyric, every Instagram post, and every impromptu public appearance is vetted by a team of image consultants. 50 Cent mocks is often calling out the lack of realness in their world. He sees a man who has traded his soul for a seat at a table that was never meant for him. The secret relationships with billionaires and tech moguls are, in 50's eyes, just more covers. Jay-Z wants to be seen as a peer to the elite. But 50 Cent reminds us that in those circles, you are only as good as the secrets you can keep. The blueprint of deception is a masterclass in modern branding, but it's also a cage. By choosing to live behind a cover, 50 Cent argues that Jay-Z has lost the ability to be authentic. Everything is a transaction. Every relationship is strategic. Even the most intimate moments of their lives are packaged and sold back to the fans as aspirational content. 50 Cent is pulling back the curtain on this transaction, asking the audience to question why they are so invested in a story that might be entirely fictional. As we conclude this first part of the expose, the image of the untouchable royal starts to fade. In its place, we see two master tacticians who realized early on that talent wasn't enough to rule the world. You needed a disguise, and there is no better disguise than a perfect marriage. But as 50 Cent continues to drop his truth bombs, the walls of this fortress are starting to shake. The secret relationships that were once Jay-Z's greatest strength are fast becoming his greatest liability. The game is changing, and the man who never cared about being liked is finally ready to show us what lies beneath the surface of the Queen's husband. The momentum of this industry-wide chess match shifts from the why to the how, as we dive deep into the mechanics of what 50 Cent calls a shadow empire. This isn't just about two people being famous. It's about a network of silent partners and institutional gatekeepers who have a vested interest in keeping the Jay-Z and Beyoncé brand at the absolute top. 50 Cent's core argument suggests that in the upper echelons of the music business, talent is a secondary currency. The primary currency is loyalty and the ability to keep secrets. He hints at a world where major corporate deals, streaming numbers, and even the unanimous praise from critics are all part of a pre-arranged agreement made in rooms where the public is never invited. These silent partners are the lawyers, the hedge fund managers, and the media moguls who saw in Jay-Z a man willing to be the face of a new kind of corporate hip-hop, one that was safe, polished, and protected by the aura of his wife's global stardom. 50 Cent's frustration stems from a very specific kind of hypocrisy. He has often spoken about how he was penalized for his raw honesty, while others were rewarded for their strategic silence. In this shadow empire, a secret relationship doesn't just mean a romantic tryst, it means a backroom deal where a major scandal is buried in exchange for a favorable contract. 50 Cent implies that Jay-Z's greatest skill isn't his lyrical ability, but his ability to manage these high trade-offs. He suggests that whenever a younger, hungrier artist starts to gain too much ground, or whenever a truth about the industry's darker side threatens to leak, the power couple machine is activated. A sudden surprise album drop, a massive world tour announcement, or a highly publicized intimate family moment is used to suck the oxygen out of the room. It's a tactical distraction, a way to ensure that the throne remains occupied by the same two people year after year. But the most controversial part of this shadow empire involves the awards for sale narrative. 50 Cent has been vocal about the idea that major award shows are essentially trade shows for the elite. He argues that Beyoncé's record-breaking trophy room is the industry's way of saying thank you to Jay-Z for being its most reliable ambassador. It's a system of mutual benefit. The award shows get the prestige and the ratings that come with the Carters' presence, and in return, the Carters get the validation they need to keep their corporate cover intact. To 50 Cent, this is the ultimate betrayal of the culture. sees a world where the little guy never stands a chance because the game is rigged at the highest level by a small circle of people who have decided that Jay-Z and Beyoncé are the only ones allowed to win. The secret relationships with other women, which 50 Cent frequently hints at, are just another layer of this empire's complexity. He suggests that Jay-Z has maintained a parallel existence for decades, one that involves high-end social circles, where influence is traded like a commodity. The reason these stories never break the surface of the mainstream media is simple. The Beyoncé cover is too powerful. The media outlets that rely on access to the couple for interviews and photos are terrified of being blacklisted. Therefore, they become silent partners themselves, complicit in maintaining the illusion of a perfect marriage. 50 Cent is essentially calling out the entire entertainment press, accusing them of being the PR department for a man who is hiding a much more complicated and perhaps darker reality. This shadow empire also extends to the digital realm. Cent has often touched upon the idea of manufactured hype. He questions how certain artists seem to have billions of streams and perfect social media engagement, while others, who are arguably more culturally relevant, struggle for visibility. He points to the silent partners in the tech world who can manipulate algorithms to ensure that the power couple stays at the forefront of every feed. This digital gatekeeping is the modern-day equivalent of payola, and 50 Cent believes it's being used to suppress any voice that challenges the established hierarchy. By controlling the narrative in both the physical and digital worlds, Jay-Z has created a fortress that is almost impossible to breach it lest you are 50 Cent, a man who has nothing to lose and a platform that can't be silenced. The culture of exploitation within these secret relationships is another point of contention. 50 Cent implies that the industry's elite often use their power to manipulate younger artists, especially women, under the guise of mentorship. He suggests that the power couple image acts as a smokescreen, making it seem like the industry is a safe, family-oriented place, when in reality, the same old predatory tactics are still in play. By appearing as the first family of hip-hop, Jay-Z and Beyoncé provide a sense of legitimacy to a system that 50 Cent believes is fundamentally broken and corrupt. He is asking the public to look past the glitz and the glamour and see the shadow empire for what it really is, a machine designed to protect the few at the expense of the many. As we look at the silent partners who have backed Jay-Z's rise, we see a pattern of convenience. These partners aren't interested in music. They are interested in control. They need a figurehead who can navigate the streets and the boardrooms with equal ease. Someone who can keep the masses entertained while the real wealth is being moved in the background. Worson's Expose is a direct threat to this arrangement. He is pulling back the curtain on the fixers, the people whose entire job is to make sure that Jay-Z's secret relationships and business maneuvers never become public knowledge. He is exposing the cleaners who scrub the internet of any negative stories, and the gatekeepers who decide who gets a seat at the table. This part of the story reveals that the throne is not a seat of honor, but a seat of management. Jay-Z, in 50 Cent's eyes, is the manager of a massive corporate illusion, and Beyoncé is the crown jewel that makes the whole thing believable. Without her, the cover would fail, and the shadow empire would be exposed to the harsh light of reality. This is why the industry fights so hard to protect their image. It's not about them as individuals. It's about the billions of dollars that rely on the public believing in the power couple myth. As 50 Cent continues to hammer away at the foundation of this empire, the silent partners are starting to get nervous. The deals are being scrutinized. The secret relationships are being whispered about in louder voices. And the throne is starting to look less like a kingdom and more like a prison. The shift from the blueprint to the empire shows us that this isn't just a personal beef, it's a war for the soul of the industry. 50 Cent is positioning himself as the wrecking ball that will tear down the shadow empire and force the silent partners out into the open. He is betting that the truth is more powerful than any campaign, and that the public is finally ready to see what happens when the cover is blown. The next stage of this battle isn't about logic or business. It's about the emotional and psychological fallout when the diamond finally starts to crack under the pressure of its own secrets. The momentum of this exposure shifts now to a much more volatile phase, where the psychological walls of the industry begin to crumble under the weight of sustained scrutiny. This is what we call the crack in the diamond. 50 Cent's strategy has moved beyond just talking about business. He is now targeting the very foundation of the Carter legacy by highlighting the exhaustion of maintaining a decades-long facade. He suggests that we are witnessing the endgame of a masterfully crafted illusion. The digital age has become the greatest enemy of the secret relationship strategy. As the gatekeepers can no longer control every narrative or silence every witness, 50 Cent observes that for the first time in his career, Jay-Z is appearing reactive rather than proactive. The man who once moved in total silence is now finding himself in a world where every cryptic meme or social media post from a rival like 50 Cent creates a tidal wave of doubt that no PR team can fully contain. The focus here is on the psychological warfare being waged. 50 Cent is utilizing his platform to ask the questions that the mainstream media is too afraid to vocalize. He points to the missing figures of the past, the people who were there during the foundation of the empire but were discarded once the power couple image became the primary objective. He argues that these people are the keepers of the real secrets, and their silence was bought with the promise of inclusion or the fear of exclusion. However, as the industry's old power structures begin to fail, that fear is dissipating. 50 Cent is essentially signaling to everyone in the shadows that it is safe to speak. He is suggesting that the cover provided by the marriage is no longer a bulletproof vest. It has become a target. This section of the narrative delves into the idea of the corporate boardroom marriage. 50 Cent invites his audience to look past the carefully curated Instagram photos of yachts and private jets and instead look at the clinical nature of their public interactions. He describes a partnership that feels more like an agreement than a romance. He alleges that the secret relationships Jay-Z maintains outside of this partnership are now becoming significant liabilities because the people involved are no longer willing to stay in the dark. As legal scrutiny intensifies around various high-level industry figures, the 6 degrees of separation are closing in. 50 Cent is betting on the fact that when the pressure becomes high enough, someone within the inner circle will break. He sees the cracks in the diamond not as accidental flaws, but as the inevitable result of trying to hold together a lie that has grown too big for its creators. Furthermore, 50 Cent highlights the irony of the black excellence narrative that the couple has championed. He argues that while they project an image of uplifting the community, their secret relationships are often with the very institutions and individuals who profit from the community's struggle. He suggests that the awards for sale are just the tip of the iceberg. The real trade-off involves Jay-Z acting as a stabilizer for the industry, someone who can keep the rebellious nature of hip-hop contained within a corporate-friendly box. In exchange, he is given the cover of being an untouchable icon. But 50 Cent is stripping away that icon status, portraying Jay-Z instead as a man who is desperately trying to manage a failing infrastructure. The diamond hand sign, once a symbol of unity and strength, is now being reframed as a sign of a closed, elitist circle that is finally being breached by the reality of its own contradictions. The psychological toll on the Queen in this scenario is also a point of intense speculation. 50 Cent's narrative doesn't just attack Jay-Z. It raises uncomfortable questions about Beyoncé's role in the cover-up. Is she a victim of the secret relationships, or is she the CEO of the deception? By framing the marriage as a business deal, 50 Cent is forcing fans to reconsider every lyric about heartbreak and every anthem of empowerment. He suggests that these artistic expressions might just be another layer of the shield, a way to humanize a corporate entity so that the public stays emotionally invested. He argues that the crack in the diamond is visible in the way the couple now avoids the public eye more than ever, emerging only for highly controlled events where no one can ask a real question. This isolation is a sign of a regime in retreat. As the cracks widen, 50 Cent's role as the provocateur becomes even more central. He knows that in the world of high-stakes branding, perception is reality. If he can make the public perceive the power couple as a business arrangement, then the magic is gone. The Grammys lose their luster. The billion-dollar tours feel like sales pitches, and the secret relationships start to look like evidence rather than rumors. 50 Cent is using the milk carton strategy, asking where the real Jay-Z went and why he is hiding behind a wall of security and a celebrity wife. He is challenging the industry to stop treating these two as deities and start treating them as moguls who are responsible for the culture they helped shape and, perhaps, the culture they helped exploit. The secret relationships with media giants are also failing. In the past, a single phone call could kill a story. Now, a single video from 50 Cent can reach millions before a lawyer can even draft a letter. This loss of control is the ultimate nightmare for a man like Jay-Z, who has built his entire life on being 5 steps ahead of everyone else. 50 Cent is showing the world that even a king can be outmaneuvered if you refuse to play by his rules. The diamond is no longer the hardest substance on Earth. It is brittle, under pressure, and showing every sign of a coming collapse. 50 Cent is standing by, hammer in hand, waiting for the perfect moment to deliver the final blow. This part of the journey reveals that the most dangerous thing to a cover is the truth. And the most dangerous person to a gatekeeper is someone who already has the keys. 50 Cent is proving that no amount of awards, wealth, or secret alliances can protect you when the public decides they've seen enough of the act. The stage is set for the final confrontation, where the House of Hav must decide if they are going to double down on the deception or finally allow the cover to fall. But as 50 Cent reminds us, once a diamond is cracked, it can never be truly whole again. The era of the untouchables is coming to a close, and the fallout will be felt in every corner of the entertainment world. The final chapter isn't about whether the throne will fall, but about who will be left standing when the dust of the Shadow Empire finally settles. The final act of this unfolding drama brings us to what 50 Cent describes as the inevitable fall of the House of Hav. This isn't just about the decline of a musical career. It is about the total collapse of a legacy that was built on the foundation of a perfect cover. For years, the industry was content to live under the shadow of this empire, except in the bought awards and the curated narratives as part of the price of doing business. But as 50 Cent has pointed out, with increasing intensity, the secret relationships that once functioned as the glue holding this empire together are now acting as the explosives that threaten to bring it down. The shift from a power couple to a business transaction is nearly complete in the eyes of the public, and the fallout is reaching a point of no return. The narrative now focuses on the legacy war, a battle for how history will remember the man who claimed to be the greatest. 50 Cent's ultimate goal has been to expose that the greatness was actually a form of extreme manipulation. He argues that when you peel away the layers of the Beyoncé shield and the corporate sponsorships, what you are left with is a man who traded the soul of hip-hop for a seat at a table that required him to betray his roots. The secret relationships with the elite power brokers were not just about making money. They were about creating a version of the industry where only one person was allowed to be the face of success. 50 Cent is portraying this as a monopoly on the culture, when they used a queen to distract the masses, while the king consolidated power through backroom deals and strategic silences. But what happens to the music when the mystery is gone? 50 Cent suggests that the secret is out and the public is no longer buying the myth. He points to the declining cultural impact of the power couple as evidence that the cover has finally worn thin. People are starting to ask the hard questions. How many of those awards were earned through talent, and how many were part of a loyalty program? How many of the secret relationships involved turning a blind eye to the exploitation of others in the industry? As the light of transparency grows brighter, the shadows that Jay-Z and his silent partners relied on are disappearing. 50 Cent is essentially saying that the House of Hav was built on sand, and the tide of truth is finally coming in. The impact on Beyoncé in this final stage is perhaps the most significant part of the collapse. 50 Cent's narrative implies that she is now faced with a choice. Does she sync with the cover strategy, or does she finally step out from the shadow of the business deal? By framing her as a corporate queen, 50 Cent has placed her in a position where her own legacy is at risk. He suggests that the secret relationships Jay-Z maintained were always the greatest threat to her brand, and that the cover was just as much about protecting him from her fans as it was about protecting him from his rivals. The tension is no longer just between 50 Cent and Jay-Z. It is between the illusion of the past and the reality of the future. The diamond is not just cracked, it is shattered. As we reach the conclusion of this expose, the image of the untouchable throne is replaced by a much more human and much more vulnerable reality. 50 Cent has successfully shifted the conversation from hip-hop royalty to corporate accountability. He has shown that no matter how many awards you buy, no matter how many secret relationships you leverage, and no matter how perfect your cover may seem, the truth is a relentless force. He is positioning himself as the survivor, the man who stayed true to the streets while others were selling out in the boardroom. The fall of the House of Hav isn't just an end. It's a warning to the rest of the industry that the era of the secret empire is over. The final words of this journey belong to the culture itself. 50 Cent is betting that the audience is ready for a hard reset, a world where music is judged on its merit, not its corporate backing, and where power couples are no longer used as shields for industry misconduct. The secret relationships have been exposed, the cover has been blown, and the man from Southside Queens is still standing, watching the throne crumble. As the screen fades to black, the question remains: who will lead the culture now that the master of deception has been unmasked? The game hasn't just changed, it has been completely dismantled. The truth is finally out, and for Jay-Z and Beyoncé, there is no blueprint for what comes next. Why is 50 Cent actually pulling back the curtain on the industry's biggest secret? Or is this just the latest chapter in a never-ending rivalry? Is the Jay-Z and Beyoncé empire truly built on a massive business arrangement? Let us know in the comments below. Do you believe Beyoncé is just a corporate cover for the throne? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the industry, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on. 50 Cent isn't slowing down anytime soon, and we'll be here to bring you every update as the drama unfolds. Thanks for watching.